very specific order of operations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's the case in here, but I guess we'll pull out the cameras. And then should we do light board, or?
Well, let's do the cameras, and that's actually all I'm going to do in the first video.
Okay.
But, you know, every time you get to do something, you know it better. So,
Right. Okay.
you know, I do want to do that. But this first video, I want to know just how do you turn on that stuff, and how do you get here, and how do you do the white balance.
Okay.
And that's enough for anybody to
Yeah,
absorb.
gotcha. Right.
Okay. So
Okay,
we're
so-
now going to just roll these out.
Yep, and you might want to mention, I guess not. They're coiled around here, but I
Yeah,
think that's
we have to
pretty obvious.
we have to uncoil these,
Just give yourself a little bit of slack, and then
and you'll want to put these back. Yes, everything gets tangled. So now we have one camera out.
and then should we go through power here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Okay,
down
so
here.
just a
power
second. Let me
switch.
see if I can get it.
and
Can you move
focus.
your hand off of it? Okay. Just a second.
Struggling with focus.
Struggling with the focus. Let's turn this so that we get maybe a bit more light. Okay. So,
All right, so power switch. So on, off. Just pop
Yeah.
that over there.
okay, there's a little switch that goes back and forth
Yeah,
there.
and then if
Okay.
you want this monitor, that's powered separately. There's a little
Yeah.
power button here.
Yeah,
Pop that on, and then the last thing, pop this lens cap off.
yep.
Down here. And then we should see something in the monitor. And we
Okay,
do.
just a second, I do.
So now you will see me.
And there's Seth. Alive and well.
Well,
Okay, so now there was another thing. Last time I was here, something that I had the headphones on, and I could not hear. I said, okay, there's some control here. Here's the thing
Okay.
that didn't help, and there was a button to be pushed. And I
yeah.
was-
So this talk button,
yeah.
that's green. That means they can hear you.
That means in the control room they can hear me.
Yeah. So if
That needs to be on.
that needs to be on for them to hear you. That doesn't
Yes.
affect you hearing them, though.
Yes.
So if you couldn't hear them, it's one of two things. It's either the volume here, which is
Yeah.
this dial,
Okay, the volume is this dial at the top. There
so
it
right now
goes.
it's all the
I
way
can
up.
see it well.
and then the other thing would be in the control. Do you want to run in there?
Yes, let's
Okay.
go back and we're gonna go back in the control room. Hello, good to see you.
Okay. So if you could not hear them, this is just a hunch.
If we can't hear them,
This is a guess, but there's either this
Yeah.
headset here or this microphone,
yeah,
and there's a switch right here that switches between headset and panel mic. So if your
yes.
panel mic, it's
a
on
little
this.
switch that toggles up and down.
And sometimes people leave this on headset.
Yeah.
And they think they're talking to this, and so they're
Yes.
talking to this is all the way over here, and it's like barely picking up any audio. So I've seen that happen. That's the only thing I
Uh-huh.
can think. Or one of these needs to be orange,
One of these needs to be orange.
and it's never
Okay.
been totally clear to me which one.
Okay, you try one, then you try the other.
Exactly. As long as
Okay.
one of them is orange.
As long as one is orange, we're okay. If they're both blue, you're not okay.
Right.
Okay. And I think they're volume controls, but
Yeah.
if you get it working, you'll recognize a volume
Right.
control.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, just before we leave here, these have these recorders are one's a backup.
One's a
They're-
backup, right?
you've got
They
a-
record on two, right?
Yeah.
One's a backup.
Okay. So that's the reason we turn on two. You
That's
don't
the
go
reason we
from
turn
one
on
to
two.
the other.
Right.
It's a duplicate.
It's the same recording on both of them.
Exactly. And there's always going to be, typically when you come here, there will be media in there. Is that right?
Right. So
So-
this percentage here, 57,
Uh-huh.
54, that's the percentage remaining on the hard drives. And I don't remember exactly, but they're pretty massive. I think they might be a terabyte or
Yeah.
maybe 3
And
terabytes.
that would be good for how many hours?
Hours, this is a guess, but I would say around 10 hours.
Yeah. Okay. So you all look at these once a week or something.
Right, and
It's
wipe-
not
and
like
wipe
you
them.
have to
Right.
deal with it every day or 3 times in
Right.
an evening.
Right.
Okay.
And then the other option, which no one ever seems to do, is you can always just pop an SD card and record on that. And that's
Okay. The SD cards are here
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
They're vertical.
And it's
Okay.
tricky. You need an SD card. The only way that it'll work here is if you have one that's 90 megabits per second or faster.
90 megabits.
Which I think that's probably why people are hesitant to use this, is
Yeah.
because they don't feel super confident in it.
Right.
Because if you do anything slower than that, it'll
Now,
record,
90
it'll be-
now 90 megabit is a super high tech. There's a
It's
guy
actually it's
from
what we sell
NASA
at the
who
front
comes-
desk.
It's what you sell at
Yeah.
the front desk.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So those are pretty good. They're not. I got one, and they're not super high tech or
No.
outrageously expensive.
No, they're not.
Okay.
They're not. So, all right.
Okay.
That's that.
Yep.
And
Now
that's
maybe
that.
we could cut. We'll come back to this.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go back to now to setting up the camera. And why don't you tell us about the the rotating thing problem?
Oh
that you-
yeah.
you
Okay. So
saw.
every once in a while, you will encounter one of these cameras. When you take your hands off it, it'll slowly start panning like that on its own.
Yeah.
The only so in fact maybe we can recreate it. If we twist it like that,
Uh-huh.
take my hand off,
Yeah.
it slowly starts moving, right? And that
Yes.
can screw up your shot.
And we can see here that the cable, the big cable, is wrapped fairly tightly.
Right.
So
and that's
you-
my suspicion, is that's what's
Yeah.
causing the slow movement, is the
Yeah.
tension of that cable. So just rotate it the direction it wants to rotate,
Yeah.
and then it should, as long as you release that tension.
So it's not really you have to spin it 3 times.
Right.
It's you've got to bring it around and maybe give this a
Yeah, just get it to
rotate
let it
this.
move the direction it wants to move.
so that this right here is
Right.
fairly loose. Good.
Yep.
Okay. And you can raise this camera. This camera is now
Yes.
down
So,
low.
this device
Sometimes
here,
it's good to have help for
pull that
this
out.
part.
Yeah, this can be heavy, as you can see.
You'd like to have somebody hold it for you or
There you go.
switch it there to the level. And now, lots of times when there are cameras that many people use, they make adjustments and you come in and why isn't it working for me?
Right.
Is there anything on these cameras you can do to reset them to,
Not that I
No.
know of.
okay?
That would be helpful.
What are the classic buttons,
So-
adjustments that somebody has left you
So the
with?
biggest ones I've seen that throw me off are when people, and I don't even know how to do it on here. I did find, neutral density filter.
Uh-huh.
So that is if you're in really bright light, which
Yes.
will never be in this studio, so I don't- it
Exactly.
should be disabled. But you slide that over, and it puts like a filter over the lens to
Yes.
make it a little darker.
And so the
it
iris
again.
now is wide open,
Right.
and you have
And
no
it's
depth
still way
of
too
field.
dark. And
Yeah.
one time I came in and it was halfway. And
Yeah.
it was literally just like this thing going halfway through my frame, and I was freaking out. And there's a show, and
That's the neutral density
So-
filter right there on the front.
right,
see.
you always want that on one.
You want that on one. Okay. Are there any of these other things, setting color temperature? That's not going to get changed here.
It might. But that's something you can correct in white balance. So,
Yeah, I
so
get it.
as long as you white balance it yourself,
Yeah.
you can correct that.
Even if you inherit something's not
Right.
so good here.
right.
Are there any other thing on the gain?
The gain. I've never messed with the gain. But yes, that's something that someone could change. And
Yeah.
that would. So the higher the gain, the more, the brighter your shot is.
Yeah.
But it also adds sort of a grainy texture to it that you
Yes.
might not want.
Okay.
So, I
It's
did that
like
one.
increasing the ISO of the film
Exactly.
or something.
Exactly.
All of a sudden you're using Tri-X.
Which, except that can look good in photography. I don't find it ever looks good in
No.
video. So that's, yeah.
Okay, let's see what else there is. We're generally on the focus here.
Oh, here's one. Okay, so one thing that, so every once in a while, so this is connected here, and as I twist this focus bar here,
Yeah.
it adjusts the focus here, and every
Yeah.
once in a while it doesn't speak to it. It's not connected, and
Uh-huh.
the reason for that is if someone, what is it? If that goes back or forward, I don't know how to recreate it right now, but what was it? There's some way, if this thing slides back, it takes off
Yeah.
the mechanical control, and I can't seem to do it right now, but
Okay.
what is it? it's that ring right there, and it slides back, but I can't seem to get it to go right now. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
So that's it, and now, oh man, it's still doing it. Well, never mind.
Okay, now what I see here is that when you pull that back, you revealed a red ring.
A red ring, and
Okay, and do you want to see is that normal? Do you want to see the red ring?
I don't want to see the red ring.
You don't want to see the red
Oh,
ring.
you know what that is? That changes between autofocus and manual focus, which there's manual focus and autofocus. There's like
Yeah.
3 different options for manual focus and
Yeah.
autofocus, which is really confusing.
Yes,
so
yes. So you do not want to see the red
you
ring.
do not want to see the red ring.
And if you find that the focus adjustment on the handle there won't work for you, make sure you don't have the red ring showing.
Right.
Okay.
I'm less confident about that, so
Okay.
maybe leave it at that. But you can leave it in there.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Now, we don't have to deal with the matter of where the sound is coming from as we do on the portable things, the channels and all of that. That's very unlikely. Nobody, unless they've been messing with this, that's not going to be a problem here.
Audio coming.
Yes,
No, audio will never come through these cameras.
exactly.
Audio goes in through that snake right there.
Yes,
And that feeds into the control room.
right. So there's no connection. We're not doing sound on this.
Sound never
on
goes
this
through
here.
these. Sound is recorded
Yeah.
separately.
Now, I saw, and I think it was on the camera with the prompter,
Yep.
that there was a different layout here. I tried to make it go away and was unsuccessful. It wasn't a problem, but is that when we
different layout?
Yeah. Well, there was a frame and so
Yeah,
forth.
so these 2 cameras, you can zoom all the way out and you'll get a wide shot. If you zoom all the way out on this, you see the frame of the teleprompter. And
I see.
so you can't do a super wide shot with this camera,
Right.
unfortunately.
Okay. So we should not be using this for our wide shots.
No, this is mostly for close-ups,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
is a bummer. The teleprompter rarely gets used. I think it should be taken off, personally. But
We may use it now.
yeah, fair enough.
Actually, we've had 6.
Well, I wish we had one that you could just like pop on and off, but this one is like attached.
Well, the
It's-
main thing is, see what you ought to do is what I do is I've got a television like this and the thing is scrolling by.
that's a good idea.
I'll show you
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sometime. You don't need that,
right.
the actors are looking up and they can,
yeah.
if they have a senior moment, which they may. And on the back here, we have nothing to look
These
at.
look like XLR inputs, but that's if you want to record audio, I guess.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah,
messed with any of this.
okay. And let's look on this side. Do we need to do anything over here? I've never opened that.
No.
That's for,
That's for not. Those are different types of cards you can
Yeah,
record to, not SD
okay.
cards.
Yeah.
I've never messed with that.
okay. And that's it. Well, we have this for
Oh, sorry, I'm getting a call from Bianca at the front desk.
yeah. Okay, so what you're going to do is you arrange these 3 cameras normally.
Sorry, she's calling me again.
Okay.
Hi, Bianca. Yep. Yep. Yeah, you can still make it. Thanks for checking, but that's a class project, so they can exceed that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Bye.
Okay, so you'll arrange these cameras and don't get the cords all tangled up.
Yep.
And I think that's about it for the sort of standard layout in
Yep.
here for turning on the cameras. And do we see anything in there? We've got, we don't
do,
see
yeah.
anything
So for
because
you.
it's black.
Yep. There we go.
Okay, and now just to show you, we can now see in the control room that camera is indeed operating. Okay.